kick that
sound.
stuff, and then
Alrighty. Glad we're here. Let's begin. So let's connect to our breath. And inhaling into the center of chest. Feel that breath spread to the skull, to the crown, and down into the tail. So we right away connect to this core, a sense of centrality within our body. With as little effort as possible, grow lighter between the skull and the neck. So that area feels as light as possible. And feel eyes relaxing into the sockets. In our pranayama today, we're going to just go through the hands with breathing, so about 10 breaths. So palm face forward, spread the hand first, lightly draw the pinky back, and continue to spread the hand through the inhalation, and continue to spread the hand through the exhale. Moving to the next digit, spread the hand, inhale, ribs, move into the arms. If they don't, either amplify breath or relax arms, or maybe both. Keep exhaling and spreading the hand bones simultaneously. Okay, so one by one. Feel the area in front of that elbow crease relax. Feel the tissues around the elbow joint melting. Even with subtle work like thinking, writing, typing, there can be a lot of kind of energetic backlog around the elbows. So just feeling all the way through the elbows and continue to the other hand, other side. So letting your feeling, sensing awareness take you all the way through the elbow into the hand. We'll switch the cross of legs when you're through. We're going to take this rotation of the left arm. So if we're kind of gesturing out here, it's turning the thumb down so the palm faces back, so in that direction or internal rotation. So my left thumb pointing down. And start that breath in the upper back, top of the shoulder blade area. And then exhaling, reach out through the palm, reach out through the fingertips. So it might feel like it's getting a little contracted or hollow here around the chest, or broad through the armpit and the upper back. Now as you keep reaching and sliding that shoulder blade forward, start to raise the palm. So you might feel the palm now starting to face the sky. And now that your shoulder blade is wrapped, as the arm is elevated, just relax at the wrist, let the palm just turn and face the ground, and we move into side bend. So the winding up of the bones and the joints in this soft material, and this kind of winding up, we can start to kind of let that tension sing through more and more of the body, the tissue surface, the nerve cobwebs. So not only can we engage with the muscles specifically, but we can turn and create these torsions that help us breathe and feel right into the tissue network, which is nerve network, which is energetic network, which is blood network. Now getting into the neck and collarbone area, inhale, move that left hand off to the side. So the left hand is about 12 or 18 inches off the ground. And you'll have to figure out the best position for the head. For some of you, you can tip the jaw up away from the collar. And for some of you, you'll want to tip it away or down. And releasing. Allow the head to relax centrally. Okay, we'll do the other side, the right side. So take my right arm, and instead of gesturing palm up, I start to turn the thumb down. As I turn the thumb down, there's a reach that gets that shoulder blade wrapping, sliding around the ribs. Let your deep breath start to feel those contours of the back of the rib cage. As you're feeling and sensing your breath underneath the shoulder blades. So we're creating distinction between the shoulder blade and the ribs, the arm bones and the trunk. And as you continue to turn all the arm bones and reach, start to elevate the hand. Go slowly. Because part of this setup is so that you can feel the winding. To me, it's a little bit like smoothing the bed sheets if you make bed. It's kind of smoothing out those bed sheets, those tissue, those sheaths of tissue, and then letting breath awaken the nerve and the blood and Once you've raised that arm up, 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 just relaxing the wrist, let the palm just kind of turn face down, but it's still having wrapped all of that right shoulder. So hopefully you're still accessing all of that tissue and musculature, right side ribs, right side spine. A lot of back muscles going into all of these ribs. And then reach a little further so you get a great breath under those back ribs. As you're exhaling, reach a little further. Encourage those muscles to start to move, to shift. And stretching that right arm up and over. You'll decide on the altitudes. So it hovers off the ground. All around the jawline and the neck. This is a vestibular area, these tensions that we absorb into the neck and the joints area here can greatly affect our sense of balance, equilibrium. So deep breaths, moving that right hand away from the skull. Letting your breath take you under the collarbone, behind the trachea, beneath the skull, under the jaw. And when you release, we're going to start I guess some people would call this a thunderbolt or a Virasana version. So from sitting on shins, and this comes with the caveat of you may need to prop your butt on a block or two. The point is that it can feel fine for your knees, and we're reaching our palms to the ground behind our toes. So if you elevate so much that you can't reach the ground, we may have to get another prop scenario. But I'm setting the palms down so my fingertips can sense where my toe tips are. You might feel, you might notice. I've had to turn my arm bones inwardly. I'll let you get situated. Okay. Hand position is just the beginning. Press. So we're getting the both sides of the chest to move forth in front of the arm bones. It's okay that the butt's lower. We don't have to press the pelvis up. This is just a chest opening move. For the sake of the neck, maybe just keep the chin kind of close by the sternum. Now engaging the triceps. So back of the arm, straightening the elbow. Push the ground, push as you inhale. And then exhale, push through that exhalation. Triceps, chest moving toward the sky. So just like we can breathe into the back of the ribs, we can bias the front of the ribs. There you go. And so the hope is that you are getting a little wind up around the shoulder, a little bias, kind of the spreading of the chest tissues. And when we release, just press yourself upright. We'll set up dolphin prelude. Let's set our elbows under our shoulders. And then setting the knees back from under our hips and then apart, wider than our hips. Elevate hands about 10 inches. And now, getting breath to spread from back of ribs, through side armpits, the front of ribs. And then listening to your breath, not a casual breath, right? Our Ujjayi breath is not a casual, you kind of tune into it like the radio while you're driving, a little here, a little there. No, it's really prominent. There's a prominent sound, a prominent feeling, and we're following that in and through the body. Wherever we land and focus and feel in our body, we're going to hear the voice of our body reflected through our breath. It's almost like a stained glass window. Shifting the weight forward, hands to ground, knees under hips. Inhale. You know, as I'm saying that, I kind of wonder if there's a little dispersion of feeling, sensing. So just select an area in the upper back to non-casually sense as you take your next inhalation. And exhale, press the knees off the ground. There's certain kind of attributes that we develop by using these poses and breaths and movements in non-casual ways. So making it a focus, feeling practice helps us build all sorts of attributes that carry us off the mat. Various sensitivities and openness. An awareness with flexibility. And we're going to take the left foot, the weight of the left foot, and set it atop the right heel. It doesn't have to be all of the weight. When you start to register that little bit of stretch to the back of the leg, connect to breath. Now, actively engage the leg. So heel keeps moving toward the earth. As you inhale the left leg away from the heel, lifting left leg up. And then reach. So the legs keep moving apart, apart, apart. That right heel drawing, pulling. There's some effort, some muscle to moving that heel toward the ground. It's like lifting the foot bones toward the shin. And then raising that left leg away from the right leg. There you go. You're going to get it in both these legs. So work both legs active. Good. We'll set the left foot down. And now the right foot will anchor onto the left heel cord. Doesn't have to be all the weight. Again, as we're smoothing the sheets, right? As we're taking the slack out of the tissues, the sheaths of connectivity, connect to breath. So that we can soften, the blood can flow. That gesture of release, of opening, can be enacted with our body and through our body. And we'll inhale the right foot back and up. And exhaling, continue active left foot, pulling the heel toward the ground. I'm saying pulling as the shin muscles are working, the quadriceps can engage, and separating those legs, raising the right, grounding the left. There you go, that's it. And when you get a nice little quiver of excitement, hear breath. Right, through the breath, we'll hear the voice of the body in any given moment. And we'll set the right foot down. Press, staying light in the shoulders as you lower the knees down. Just so we're not collapsing in the shoulders to lower. When we land back, we're going to get right into straddle. So from back lying, legs set widely apart. Inhale, the head and the shoulders off the ground. Exhaling, reach out through the legs. Again, it doesn't have to be maximal. First, it's just about getting the tissues to, there's a responsivity that we open to. And max effort isn't always, our maximum stretch. May not be how our receptiveness comes online. Inhale. And exhale. Use the outreach, the widening apart of the legs, so you can focus the sensation right in between the legs, around the tip of the tailbone. All right, together yet independently, let's do about 5 more. So continue. Can you feel breath getting nearer to the tailbone? Can you hear the breath as you're focusing, feeling, sensing all around the tailbone? Setting head down, help your legs together when you're done. All right, locate your strap. I like a really small loop for this. I'm going to remain lying and loop our left hand to our right foot. Why loop? So that you can leave your head on the ground. If I just try to reach for the foot, one, I might not straighten my right leg. I might cramp up or feel the back of the neck area crease up. So I just want to let that neck be relaxed, lengthy, soft, resting on the ground. So for me, my loop between my left hand and my right leg, it's about a 6-inch loop. And we'll start to straighten the left leg along the ground. Sometimes we do this shape in standing, or we just call it standing alternate twist. And here we get to lie our spine on the ground, our head. And breathe into the low back, pressing that left heel away from the brain. Generally, if we're lying, we can focus our breath into our low back. And we can focus on just straightening the legs, getting those tissues to start to melt or want to open up to more sensing. And then we'll switch sides. So my entire spine and back of head get to remain lying. The right hand will connect with the left foot. I'm using a loop Again, so I can straighten the leg. My right shoulder can be near-ish to the ground. My head can be relaxed down on the ground. And just begin a process of both breathing, reaching, engaging. So not passive, I'm engaging, sending that right leg away from the head, engaging that left leg toward the sky. And we'll release. All right. So I think we gave the legs plenty to think about. So let's turn to the side. We're going to slide the hands under the shoulders, readying for downward dog. Inhaling into the back of the ribs, under the shoulder blades. Triceps engaged. And triceps bridge the shoulder blade to the forearm bone. And exhaling the knees off the ground. Inhale, step the right foot forward. We're taking a lunge. So we'll place the left knee down, the left hand down. And now the right arm can hug the thigh. Little nuance adjustment. If you need to move that right foot off to the right, if you need to widen your base, might be better for some of your hips. Okay, you just walk that right foot to the right. There's value in both versions. So your hips might need that widening move. And then it's a little bit more of a kind of a splaying, resting, draping down. If I keep my feet a little narrower, my stance narrower, I can work those inner legs and it becomes a bit more active through the front and the legs. So your choice. When we press the back knee off the ground, we're going to pivot into a straight-legged stance as we get into flank stretch. So my feet are about 3 feet apart. Folding, torso right in between the legs, and the left hand reaches over, grabs the right ankle. Flank stretch, left hand to right ankle. Feel the weight of the head releasing down. And just, it's a letting go down. It's not a shaking out or a ragdolling the head. Just instead of shaking the neck and the head, just feel it's like an icicle. It just goes with gravity. It senses gravity and goes with it. And as we release, inhale, just use the hands, and we're walking them back toward the right leg. When we set the knee down, this time we're setting up for twisting lunge. So we're going to raise or reach that left arm forward. Exhaling that left arm over the right thigh. Twisting lunge. As we move into interlock, get this right hand behind the back. Bring the left armpit nearer to thigh. And release. Inhale, unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward dog. We'll do those few on the other side. So we started with lounge lunge. Inhale the left foot forward, and we'll place the right hand and the right knee down. This gives us a chance to breathe into the right side ribs. All the way up into the right. There's deep chest wall muscles. Behind the breast and the chest and the axilla. How does that deep chest start to open up to breath, breath movement? Inhaling, unwind. So when we press up and into a wide-legged stance, we're working that flank stretch. So the right hand now grabs onto left ankle. So as we get into these higher up ribs, breathing, kind of spreading these areas out, we may feel the neck muscles playing differently. So a lot of what connects the head and the jaw and the neck goes right into the tops of the ribs, top of the rib cage. So if you're putting a little bend in that right elbow and reaching it toward the earth, and start to weave your breath into those topmost ribs. So go under the collarbone, below the collarbone. And as the breath reaches and starts to move and articulate those topmost ribs, is it possible to release a little bit more under the skull, through the neck? And release. We'll walk the hands toward that left foot, setting the right knee down for twisting lunge. And we'll exhale that right arm over the left thigh. And twisting lunge interlock. The right armpit slides down to the leg. Left hand behind the back. And release. Inhaling, unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhaling, chaturanga. Let's pause here at the bottom. Put your belly to earth if you've not. I'm going to do a round of boat here. So one, shifting the tailbone toward the earth. Interlacing hands behind back. Inhale. Getting deeply with breath into the front of the chest. As those upper ribs, the mid ribs and the upper ribs start to move and respond to breath, the low back doesn't have to work quite as hard. This is just my personal body experience, and of course, you may have a different take in your body, but And release. Setting the hands down, the chest down. Inhale the hands under the shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog. We're going to do a heel to butt lunge. Inhale the right foot forward. So you may want some padding under the left knee. In this way, the left hand, as it grabs the foot, the knee feels comfortable. And if you're grabbing the foot, I'm not suggesting that we smush the toes together, but it's like a facilitated point. I don't want you to cramp on the foot, but the toes, the top of the foot and the shin start to make a straight-ish line, if that makes. So there's that sheath. The top of the ankle is getting a little bit of stretch. That may go through the knee, that may go through the shin. So we do a lot of active foot, and it's really good to also take the foot in that other direction, where we're moving that top of foot away from the shin, away from the knee. And as you do, you'll feel that starts to light up all the way to the hip flexor. And then as you send that quad and lengthen and expand through that hip flexor, inhale, expand through the abdomen. And really set that left foot down to the ground. And we'll go top of foot to the ground and left shin to the ground. Place hands on hips. This can be knuckles or thumb forefinger. And this might be where you want to fine tune how elevated that left knee is. Inhale, pressing the hands down at top of the hips. The whole low back starts to lift away from that thigh. Press that left shin downward. Now I've used two blocks. I've put my left knee on a block and the top of my left foot on a block, so I have kind of a different elevation for my left side. And for some of us, that may actually help our low back feel better, to adjust the height of one of our bent legs. Can't presume that our thigh bone is exactly as long as our shin bones. That's just likely not true in all of us. All right, release. So now we set the hands down and the knees both all on the ground. So if you'd used props, scooch them off to the side. We're going to be working a dorsal fin. So just to describe, we'll do one side, coming into dolphin. Right hand will search for the left foot behind our back. I'll talk us in. Set up just like dolphin. Elbows under shoulders, forearms out in front. On exhale, press the knees off the ground, and what everyone can do is raise the left leg and draw the heel nearer to the butt. So the left leg is elevated and bent. Then, if you can take that right hand away from the ground, start to reach carefully back to find that left foot. If in finding that left foot, you grab it, delicately foot press, hand gets lifted up by foot. There's a little pickup by way of leg strength. Go delicately. This is not a fast move. You won't just wing it and grab it. And even if you're not taking that right arm from the ground, you can still raise the left leg and bend the heel toward the butt. There you go. There you go. I'll give you another moment. This is good. Gotcha. There you go. And we'll set that left foot down. Arms down, hands down, knees down. Inhale, slide the hands under the shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog, engaging the triceps. Part of that triceps connected to the shoulder blade. All right, heel to butt lunge. Inhale the left foot forward. You'll decide on padding for right knee. Right hand grab right foot. And if you got the foot, my hand is holding the top of the foot. I'm taking the slack out of the big toe, the top of the foot, the top of the ankle, the shin, and you might feel that going right up around the kneecap and right up to the hip and the quad. Expand, reach that right thigh bone away from the abdomen. And deep breath, expanding the abdomen away from the thigh. There's continuity that we can discover from the big toe all the way up into the intestinal area. There's connectivity from the toe all the way deep into the guts. These are just practices to feel those various strands of continuity. So just ways of laying our attention and our focus out in these shapes and these tracks. When we set that right foot down, we're going hands to hips and lunge. You might want to play around with the elevation of the right leg. Okay, so I place the top of the foot down, the shin down, hands on hips. We'll set all our limbs down on the ground. So the hands, the knees. Remove all the props. And we're going to do that dorsal fin on this side. The setup is like dolphin. This will be our last item here. And press the knees off the ground, and everyone can raise the right leg and bend the knee. So heel is near butt. And then left hand can search for that right foot. And release that foot, hands, knees, all the things down. Sliding hands under shoulders, contract the triceps, exhale, downward dog. And gently set knees down. We'll lie back. We'll have a moment of rest. Shavasana. So these first few breaths, allow them to be large, almost billowing. We're kind of exploring whatever freedoms we find in our body. This is not conceptual freedom. This is perceived, embodied freedom. How do you experience it in your cells? We listen to how nature, capital N, the nature of our body explores, experiences freedom. We can make connection to the outer world. And then start to release the technique of breathing, so the breathing may become softer, lighter in touch. No less awareness, no less feeling, no less sensing, just a lighter touch. So as our touch becomes lighter and lighter, we'll recognize the awareness, the feeling awareness, decoupled from the efforts. from this rest position by bending knees, turning to a side, and pressing up. Namaste.